And it's on Monday at 6:15. So at 6:15, all the press is there with their pencils really sharp and ready to, give a good review, and all the cameras. Not at the 8:45 because they wouldn't get it into the newspapers. And so Judy was very, very nervous, terribly nervous. And it's something that happens to servicemen when they stand to attention and their knees lock together, they fall over backwards. And this is what happened to Judy. And this is Val Parr now. And if you can imagine, she was starting this new career, what terrible thing that could possibly happen is to fall down on your opening night, which is what she did. And of course, she had a yellow dress on, and all the press was there, and they took pictures of this. But what did she do? She started giggling. And Noel Coward was in the audience, and he was cheering her, and she got up, and when she finished giggling, she was okay. What else could possibly happen? And she finished beautifully, and that got her over the nervous thing. And so, but the reviews were, horrible. But one person said, and I have to read this out, she wore a yellow dress, and they commented that she was a little bit heavier than they were used to seeing her on the screen. And this person said, bigger still for wearing yellow with spangles, she cheerfully upholds her reputation as the worst dressed person on the screen. I thought black would be better until I saw the gown she had chosen for the second show. Can you imagine? I don't think she ever wore that. I only went to 6:15 and I never saw the yellow dress. I think it really hurt her. But other people, such as Beverly Baxter, said, the truth is that Miss Garland is now better than her material. This quality, vibrant sincerity, opens up possibilities which probably she herself has failed to realize. She can command pathos without being maudling. She is an artist. And I went about 4 times, and every time Judy performed, she was different. If she was very, very gay, then the happy songs were marvelous, and the sad songs were okay. But if she was in more pensive mood, or maybe tired or something, gay songs were fine, but the sad songs would just break your heart. And so Joey Luft referred to this when he was here in 1997, when he performed with his mother at the Palace the 3rd time. He said every time she sang was different. And I thought that was very, very clever of him. She was like an artist. She was like Monet that painted the Notre Dame many, many times. Every time was subtly different. It wasn't deliberate on her part. It was just the sensitivity that she was, that, Gordon Jenkins often said, if you looked away, you were lost. He's written about her many times. So, but anyway, the people didn't care what the press said. They loved her. And so she did 4 weeks there. She went to Manchester for a week and Liverpool. And then I think it was Manchester, Liverpool, right? And then she went to Glasgow and Edinburgh. Now, she told the folks up there about her grandfather, her maternal grandfather, all the songs he used to teach her. Then she went over to Dublin and told the folks there about her grandmother. This was her maternal grandparents. And I think it's probably like my grandchildren. I tell them about the food we eat and how I have to have a cup of tea at 4 o'clock. And it was as if she was home. She felt very comfortable there. And it warmed her. The people were they just loved her. Anyway, she went back where Sid Luck was in her life then, and she went back to the Palace, and he got the Palace going, and she was there for 19 weeks. And Roger Eden wrote songs, and also Chuck Walters did a lot of information that we've just learned from Brett. He's going to be talking about Chuck Walters, and it's a very good book. I've read it. And so, and when I update mine, I'm going in the index, because your book wasn't published when I did it, right? But Roger Eden always got a mention, and they didn't mention Chuck that much, did they? No. He was a good friend to her. And that first movie he directed, it was Judy's idea. She didn't want Vincent on Easter Parade, and she went into Mayer and said, I want Chuck to direct it. Yeah, and that was his, and then he went on and directed many more movies. Well, anyway, Judy then goes back to Hollywood and CDs, no, LPs came out then. And she made some LPs with Capitol Records, and The Star is Born. So for 6 years, all we had was LPs and The Star is Born. And in one of the LPs, there was a little mention about fan club. And I thought, I wrote, and I thought, you know, I was a bit apprehensive. I didn't know what this fan club would be like. And I met this lady called Lorna Smith. And she was very serious and very, like a headmistress, very, very strict. And yeah, is that right? Headmistress, right. Yeah, and she was matronly, and she wasn't that old, but she was, I thought she would be safe to join the club. And as I could type and Lorna couldn't, I used to write, you've still got some of them, I think, that there was a long legal paper that I had to type on a special carbon paper and put on a Gestetner machine and run off about 60 copies and send them all around. So, you know, this was the first time I'd met somebody who liked Judy as much as I do. And it's like when we come here, we meet other people, and it's lovely to share Judy. And I hadn't had anybody to share it with, and so this was very nice then that what did I do with the paper? It was very nice that I got to meet people that I like. So this is still at the